They have the whole tourism market, and we're there just like slaves. Yeah, just modern slaves. We are not chained up, we're not, but economically, socially, we're still slaves. Yeah.
I think our safari company is quite successful because of me being German and white and my husband being black and Tanzanian. So because I do all the marketing and the sales and the contact with the customers, so like I do the email contact, I do the phone calls, and we also have a lot of German clients, and so they feel very comfortable booking with me, talking to me, because they can not only talk in their mother tongue, but because I'm white, because you know the face is like familiar, they trust me more than if it would just be my husband.
People are flying across the world to see these national parks, these animals, and these catch on safaris, but they're not seeing the reality of this system. They don't see how the profit don't reach the communities. They don't see the way foreign ownership prevents us from owning our own businesses. They don't see the way we struggle to benefit from our own land and labor. They see what they want to see, a few lions, and they fly home and never think twice about what is happening behind the scene. It's the same story. It always has been, just more crafted and hidden this time. Colonialism just in a new form. All the misunderstandings that people have about the safari industry stands uncorrectable because the large foreign-owned companies controls the narrative about us and our own country. Anything outsiders knows about Tanzania was probably taught to them, shown to them, or explained to them by someone that hasn't been spent more than a month in this country. Now it's our turn to tell our own story.
To look forward. Mambo vipi? Umchomoe? Niko. Here in the ecosystem, in nature, there is no second chance. There is no hospitals, there is no ambulance and all this like human. Here you have to be very strong and survivor, because survive for the fittest. Yeah. So even to choose where to live, you have to have a strategy of adapting the environment so that enemies won't see you easily. At some point, I will stop for the moment of silence so you can hear different animals like birds, etc., and birds. Just quiet and enjoy the forest. Then we'll be driving. As we go, we will pass through different other habitats. And while I'm driving, we'll be looking at different things like trees, birds, bugs, and animals as well. Yeah. Karibu. You can stand up if you want, feel comfortable.
Tourism in Tanzania, it has a very big contribution. So it just contributes about 11% of the country labor force. And it is one of the fastest and biggest growing industry of economy in the country. According to the data in 2004, the tourism just growth was $1.7 billion, and in 2019 it went up to $2.6 billion.
The level of awareness is getting out of the borders now, like out of normal expected tourism equations. This means that now a lot of other people are trying to fit themselves into both a tourism value chain and also tourism supply chain. So that comes with also its own good package of challenges.
This is the biggest and one of the profitable business in the world, but in reality, who is benefiting is possibly not the people living in that destination country.
So today we are going to pick up our clients who travel with mega tours. They're from USA. We collaborate with the Daya Women's Foundation, a non-government organization that I founded with a mega tours company that also I founded. And we work together. And so when the client comes, we don't only take them to the big national parks, only to the big lodges, only, but also we go to the really community for interactions, exchanging cultural differences. People also, especially tourists, they have to know and learn about conservation. It's not a matter of just coming and looking for big five. It's not a matter of just coming and finding lion and elephant and those big animals only. And there are so many communities relying on nature for their lives, for food, for medicine, like traditional medicine and so on. So if we destroy environment just because of dollars, we will not fit in this world if you don't respect Mother Nature.
What kind of plant is that?
Sisal. Sisal. Yeah. Look at this. This is what I was showing you there. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Even the color of the soil is changing now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah.
The image of Africa isn't shaped only by safaris, but it's shaped by, like it's already shaped when we grow up. So like, how do we see black people? Maybe around Christmas, those advertisings about, $1 a day makes a difference in Africa, stuff. This is creating an image of like poor, like uneducated black people who need white saviors, who need like, who also don't have a lot of power themselves and who are like don't have a lot of education. It doesn't start in Tanzania, it starts in people's home countries, because if you look at Germany, for example, the first thing that comes into people's mind when we talk about black people is drug dealers and refugees. So there's a lot of racism in the country already, so people don't really feel like they can trust these companies. And then the local tour operators, they only have Tanzanian bank accounts. For example, there's no PayPal in Tanzania. There's not really security. So if people are sending $5,000 or even more to a country, to a person, they have never really spoken to, they don't really know, they feel like they can't express themselves, the people do not really understand what they want, and then who's willing to send such a large amount of money, let's say 3 months or 1 month before they travel. So there's also not a lot of trust. And this is where, sad as it is, it helps to be white, because this is where people trust you.
You're looking into our neighboring relations. We are not playing in equal fields. That's what, it's not that we fear competition. Is we want people to play, or we want businesses to be in equal playing field. If for me to start a business, I need at least $100,000 as a local person, and if I go to the bank, the interest percent goes from 8 and above % for US dollar, while if you go internationally, the interest is up to 2% maximum. So that is already like we are not playing in equal fields.
Yeah, you pay taxes for everything. Like there's monthly taxes, yearly taxes on the car, on your license. You have to renew your license every year. There are different licenses for safari guiding and for mountain guiding, which makes it really, really difficult for people to operate here. And the foreign companies, they're not paying any taxes in Tanzania. So they are operating under the German law, the US law, whatever, wherever they are based. And so there are a lot of ways for them around those taxes because they don't pay for that.
The rich will continue to be the rich and the poor because of this tax issue. Yeah, so there's this system, it's not very easy to see it, but it's there. And a lot of people live in that. And it's really hard for an ordinary person to make it through it.
We already said the money is not 100% or even 80% sent to the destination countries like Tanzania. But as long as the money is held in the foreign country, that means just a fraction or certain percentage of the money is taxable. So the government is not actually benefiting from what it was dedicated to be used in tourism.
There is so many type of safari. We have high-end safari, we have mid-range safari, and we have also budget safari. Yeah. So Most of the safaris that we are winning as a local is budget. That means even the amount that client is supposed to pay is low.
The foreign tour operators, they're very successful because they have the money for marketing and they can reach a lot of people. But the irony is that they most likely have, even if they have been to Tanzania maybe once or twice, most of the time they have not done all the activities and have seen all the national parks they're taking people to, and the guides are not the one that are setting the itinerary, but they have just been told this day this many people come, they're gonna sleep in this lodges and gonna see these parks, like go pick them up and do what I'm telling you. So they don't have a say in where the people are going and what they're doing, whereas the foreign tour operators just control the market with their money.
Yes, international companies as well here, no doubt they control a lion's share of high-end markets.
So if people are booking their safaris in their home countries and not locally in Tanzania, the money does not really reach the countries.
This kind of organizing by using an agency, that's where I identified in my study that a big leakage of our economy is where it is happening. And this is because these agencies, they are just situated in a source country, or we call it in a foreign countries out of Tanzania. And they organize this safari, they just make these packages, then they sell to whoever is interested to visit the country. So within that packages, they're sold in a reasonable price. Sometimes you can find out it is a good amount of money that is dedicated to that package. Unfortunately, that amount of money is not reflected in the destination country.
Their aim is just to work with the tourist, then later they subcontract to the local.
Even when it comes to booking accommodation, so in the high season everything is pretty busy, and sometimes it's really difficult to find accommodation for your clients. And then they start to prefer the foreign-owned companies rather than the local companies, because again, the lodges are also foreign-owned many times. The money does not stay in the country, and so they do business among themselves. And it's really difficult for local operators to get rooms, to get the accommodation. The foreign companies, the foreign tour operators and the foreign-owned lodges have their own deals that are setting up. I mean, people are getting better prices, and you're just kind of left outside. It helps again that I'm German and white, but still, they will tell you they're fully booked, and then you see that other companies and clients are still getting spaces in the accommodations because they prefer to have those people.
So they just build those facilities and they will just hire someone from their own countries to come up there. So even if the payment is good, but it's not benefiting the local, it is just the same money going back to their home country. You pay the same person who was from abroad to come and work in your country, and at the same time the same money is going to be sent back to them. So you can see how much it is. And even if you put them to be part of the management, they're not part of the decision maker. They're just there as a representation because it's a requirement to have at least a representation of a local community for you to be accepted and people around to see as if you care about them. So it's a bad thing. Now it is 2023, we say, is it bad to have foreigners to run their own businesses in your country? The answer is no, but the question is, how do they do it? Do they consider about giving chances, opportunities to the local? And if they do, does it benefit them? Or they are there just as a representation, as a pictorial for someone when it comes to say they are there and we consider them, while when it comes to the incentives and to the actual issue who is benefiting, they are not benefiting. So we just want to remind ourselves from one of the scholars, Walter Royney, who wrote extensively on the development and said, so long as the foreigners own the land, the banks, insurance companies, means of transportation, newspaper, and power station, then for so long will the wealth of Africans flow outward, not the hands of those elements. In the absence of the direct political control, foreign investment insurance, that the natural resources and the labor of Africa produces economic values which is lost to the continent, Do we need this to continue hunting Africa? The answer is no.
When you come here, you can feel the power. The land of peace and prosperity is the name of this. Like me and my children and a husband, we have decided to call this land a land of peace and prosperity. And sometimes people come here and dance and do whatever they want to do. The land was broken.
Yeah.
The erosion was big.
Yeah.
And it was like this, like very, very. Yeah. And people were wondering, why is this woman buying this land?
Yeah.
Why are these people buying this land? And I'm like, guys, you can see the ecosystem of Ngorongoro Highlands, and here is one. But I can see amazing trees there in green. Why not here, where the communities are? They were busy working, and I'm like, oh, thank you, universe.
Yeah.
Look, the result of those flowers and bees, this, pods. And when the seeds grow,
Yeah.
even down there.
Everywhere.
So we want to make sure these 3 villages, trees.
Yeah.
Like trees. Yeah. Full of trees. Our plan, you see this area? Mm-hmm. Small tents, and here. If you look here, Maggie, here, tents, tents in the natural environment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's our plan. I hope to see a lot of friends coming to visit and to support by paying a little amount for staying here. And I can see how much percentage will go to Maggie's Tours company and the family, and how much percent will go back to the community for those who are coming to work, to help teach, exchange their experiences. But also I can see people around this village are getting jobs.
So the tourism operation may be different from other countries compared to Tanzania, because in Tanzania the client, you are picked up by the safari guide starting from the point of entry. If it's an airport, then that person is responsible to pick you up from there. We'll take you from the airport, go to the accommodation facility that is arranged by the ground tour operator. Then after that, we'll take you to the destination, the attraction that you are intending to go and visit.
But look at them, exactly, they look alike.
Yeah, they do.
But see, they're eating from grasses, and they're very picky. But if you look at them, their crown is resembling the environment.
Yeah.
You need to be careful to protect yourself from danger.
And for that case, the same person will help you until the last day when you want to depart out of your home to your home country. So at all time, the safari guide is with you as your caregiver, as your pathfinder, as your mentor, as your safekeeper, as a means of communicating with the local communities, as a person who will interpret and give you the good experience in the field. So now you can see the main point of contact here is the safari guide. So the only problem, or what we see it is challenging here, regardless of them being people providing and giving that big contribution, they're kind of like being forgotten by the owners of the companies or the system itself.
So tour operator is the one who owns a safari company, and tour guide is the person who will take a tourist in different places and guide them and give them information about where they are, what they're doing, and their aim of being those particular places. And also tour operator can go to safari as a guide. And there's a lot of tour operators who are tour guides, but there's a lot also of tour operators who are not tour guides. Yeah, they have money, they can invest.
The relationship between the guides and the operators is difficult, I would say. So the guides obviously depend on that, because there is something like a minimum wage, but I mean, if they're not paying it, then what does the guide want to do? Complain somewhere? Then he will not have a job at all. So I think many times people have the mind of like little money is still better than no money, and yeah, they don't have any power. Like the foreign companies can pay them whatever they want, can treat them whatever they want. So the guides are like kind of living in fear, because if they're complaining or if they say they don't want to do the job, there are like 100 people behind them who are like pushing for it and say, oh, you can even pay me $5 less and I'll still do the job.
The most intense part is that 70 to 80% of the safari guide working in tourism industry, some of them they worked for 5 years, up to 15 years, they don't have even a work contract that tells them or dictate their future, what is happening tomorrow or a year ahead. They are still working as laborers in a daily basis. They don't have a contract for their salary scale. The company will always treat you as a labor with no contract, and at the end of the day, they pay you as they wish.
I think the big problem is the clients are not aware of this, because I think many people want to book ethically, want to make sure the money is in the country, and this is also what they advertise. Like the foreign companies advertise, we pay this, we pay that, we pay whatever, the insurances, and then in the end they don't, and nobody can control if they're really doing that, because if you ask the guides, nobody will say, oh, I'm not getting paid proper, I don't have the equipment to do this trip. No, everybody will say, oh, I love my job, everything is perfect.
So it's kind of like a exploitation, because someone is using you for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and at the end of the day you become useless to them and they don't need you. That is exploitation. You're being exploited, your time, you're being exploited, your energy, you're being exploited as a human resource. We understand in any kind of environment for things to change, people, they need to change. The laws, the rules, the regulations need to change. So if you don't have someone to put rules and regulations in place and making sure they are implementing and monitoring and evaluating it, then it's become a culture within the society, and it's become business as usual. So possibly also the graduates, they just go in the society, they just go and join in the normal routine, and they don't see as if it's part of exploitation. They see as if it is a normal thing. So it's a culture that is made by the failure of policies or people who are responsible to make things right.
Actually, with Maggie's tours, we believe that if you provide female guides with experiences and skills, these girls already have gone to school, to the colleges, and learning about leadership skills, ecosystem, for example, ecology, all these, and first aid. They have first aid attendants and all this, but you need to do it. Like, you need to, like, anatumbukia, to, like, to practice it. So this is what we are doing in our company, giving them skills and experiences. I want them to seek for the opportunities, and I open opportunities too. Why? Because even me, someone opened these opportunities, and then you can see Maggie who can do friendly farming, Maggie who can own camps, Maggie who can have her own local safari companies, Maggie who can dare to have this Maggie's tour company.
Regardless of the tourism being a profitable business, it does not benefit the local who carries the pain of the tourism operation or carries the burden of conservation. So for that case, the question of who pays for tourism and who benefit, it's still a misunderstood situation, and it is not well addressed because majority, they are not paying attention on what is going on and what is impacting the local communities and people who are fully giving their power, their energy and resources to make sure tourism is thriving.
I think if people want to do a safari, want to have a good experience, want to make sure they're benefiting, like the local people are benefiting from from their money and from their time, then they should really take the time and do research. And I think nowadays it's easier than ever on Instagram, Facebook, even on Google.
We are working on actually at the moment as a pilot project to support and formalize the 100% Tanzanian owned companies to become to get their proper tourism licenses and start the business. And our package includes a few things. First, tourism licenses, one 3-page website, internet support for 1 month, for 12 months, rent for the office, and some possible mentorship on need. At least for 1 year, we want to bring more locals into the business, so that if we locals are in the business, getting our own fair share, doing the business, because as I said in the beginning, this is the industry which has share for everyone, whether it's multinational, it's local, whoever. Then we will keep on protecting this wildlife. If locals will not make money out of this industry, then the world stands to lose this precious resource.
Our government should make sure that at least 75 of safari company owned by Tanzanians, like really Tanzanians. Yeah, because the profit will remain here. So if I'll have like a 1 million US dollars, it will be here. Where will I spend? It's here, with this community. Yeah, that would be the first solution.
We think that as the industry, it's fair to put systems and structures in place which will protect and support the growth of the local companies. And also this will not only add to the wealth transfers as well to locals, but it also goes back a long way to protect the natural resources of this country. Because our business, as I explained in the beginning, it is pegged on, it's a nature-based, and therefore we have to protect the nature to earn, or we have to protect the nature to live. That means if it's becoming too expensive to do business, that also has a direct implication on wildlife and other natural resource protections.
And our safari is eco-friendly. And we are also a sustainable tour company, also a regenerative tour company. It's not only about sustainability, sustain what we have, but try to recover what you have lost already.
50% of our safari itineraries are authentic. That means we are dealing with pure local people. We support our fellow locals. Like we have the itinerary of authentic, like 15 days authentic Tanzania, which we even providing accommodation who owned by local. And as a tour operator local, the safari guide local, and later this experience is becoming something different which other tour operator don't sell. Yeah.
We want also them to have a good picture of Africa, because a lot of people believe Africa, they have a lot of diseases, a lot of poverty, all those bad things. Yeah, so when they come in, that's why we're doing cultural tours. We engage our tourists with different communities in order to see that first. So by doing that, they'll go back to their country with a different kind of mentality about Africa, and they start to share that news.
During the local way, I feel good because we benefit our fellow locals. We're balancing them salaries, we're balancing them allowance during the safari. So everything is going in equal. And as I told you this year, most of my team are my fellow guides. So they are not like scared of even advise me as an owner. They are taking me as a friend. So together we change.
So we need to redefine our boundary. We need to define our culture. We need to redefine what is benefit. We need to define who pays for these costs and who benefits from the tourism industry. We have seen from the beginning to the end, tour guides, local communities, and the country as the destination. They just pay a lot to make sure tourism is moving forward. But the benefit is still residing in the foreign countries. The country is exploited. So it is our choice if we want to keep living the way we live, or we want to make some changes for the betterment of the future.
But
It's up to you to choose which kind of life you want to live. Live like a slave or like a hero. It's up to you.
If we don't act today, these guides, they won't care anymore. They will accept to be bribed. They will accept to be taken for granted. And we don't have someone who will take care of these resources. And for the future, these resources won't exist. So if we really care about conservation, if we really care about the future, we need to care about these engineers who are responsible to take the tourists in the field in a daily basis, who look after the environment, who look after our clients, who look after the behaviors of people who doesn't have even interest for our country. So it is important to make sure their views are heard, their concerns are listened. As the government can start by implementing the rules, the regulations, the policies, that can help them. As the companies that are hiring these people, they can just consider about the well-being of these people. Without that, maybe we can be talking about another story. And I'm sure those tourists, they are not coming in our country to look for nothing. They're coming because of the beauty that is existing. Unfortunately, if we don't take care of the beauty that is existing, we won't have any in the near future. So if it's true that we are using tourism as a vehicle for sustainable development, then we need to consider the key stakeholders, including the safari tour guides, who are actually pioneers of this movement.
But as long as we know what we're doing in communities and we are change makers, and also we're going to learn a lot from them as well. So why not doing it? And we are believing that everything will grow up more as we live. And when we are going to share these pictures and videos and information from the villages, from us, etc., hopefully people who understand the importance of the local NGOs, of the local communities, etc., and they trust us, probably they will do something to empower and support our work. Yeah.